Hello, good people. This is Kingsley Ejiofor Eze again, here to continue the last episode of the series we have been running on business risks and how best to mitigate them. On the previous episode, we spoke about the different business risks. We talked about how best to mitigate them, and we gave scenarios. We explained the business risk management process and many more. Today, we will move ahead with other globally known business risks and how best to mitigate them. Okay, let's go fully into it. How to mitigate business risk. If you can remember previously, we spoke about that applied knowledge is power, and we explained what business risk is about. However, for the interest of those who did not join us in our previous episode, let's just briefly, explain what business risk is all about. Then we will forge ahead into other aspects of business risk and their solutions. First, a business risk is an exposure a company or an organization has to factors that lower its profits or lead it to fail. So in a simplified format, I always say that a business risk is an exposure by which a medium, small, or large organization has faced that lowers its profitability, that can cause it to fail, or that can hinder its sustainability. So anything, be it health challenge, be it climatic challenge, be it financial challenge, be it environmental factor, be it climatic conditions, be it anything that can hinder a business from being a sustainable brand, that can hinder a business from profitability, that is called a business risk. So anything that threatens a company's ability to achieve its set financial goals, its set sustainable goals, its set scalability goals is called a business risk. Okay. We've explained other business risks before. Now we are moving forward. In today's episode, we'll speak more about environmental risk. And then we'll also touch other aspects of risk. Environmental risk. What is environmental risk? This is a type of risk an organization faces when her operations drastically affect the environment. So a medium, a small, a large-scale organization, a multinational firm in which its operations affect the environment, such acts is termed environmental risk. This type of risk gradually occurs. It's not a thing that occurs once, like the climatic risk, which occurs as an act of nature, like typhoon, like flooding, like earthquake, and all that. So environmental risk occurs in a gradual procession. Sometimes it takes years for an environmental risk impact to be felt. So the operations of environmental risk, grows in periodic procession. And the impact for it to be very, very visible, for it to attract, sometimes governmental, attention, take a period of time. But it takes a period of time does not mean that its impact can also, be curtailed with swiftness. No. So environmental risk causes the host community that is hosting the organization or the business and the entire environmental system to demand immediate shutting down of the business. So when your business is causing environmental risk, the host community can demand an immediate shutdown of the business. For instance, oil and gas companies that have oil spillage, and the oil spillage is causing serious environmental, hazard. The host community can demand a shutdown of the business. For instance, a manufacturing firm is not treating its waste product adequately, and the waste products from this manufacturing firm is polluting the environment. It can pollute the water body, it can pollute the earth crust, it can pollute, the air, noise pollution, among others. This aspect of environmental risk can cause the host community to demand immediate shutdown of the business. This, environmental risk, as I explained earlier on, it is very expensive when its impact when you try to remedy its impact, it's usually very, very expensive. You know why? It took time for it to form. It took years for the impact to be felt. So to reverse the impact of environmental risks is usually it's capital intensive. So it takes good management decision to factor environmental impact in business operations. Every good organization, be it a micro organization, a small organization, a medium organization, a large organization, even multinational brands, are all expected to factor in environmental risk in their processes. So in the organizational policy or in the staff handbook, the environmental risk are expected to be factored in. And how best to mitigate this risk are also expected to be documented. Remember the risk management process, which starts from identifying the risk from your historical background, okay, assessing the impact and the degree of impact on this risk, then setting the control measures for this risk, and then reviewing the control measures as the organization progresses. So the management of various organizations are expected to factor in environmental risk. Environmental risk must not be neglected, must not, because it can hinder the sustainability of brands. It can hinder the business processes. It can mar the return on investment. Okay, now what is the next business risk we're going to look into? The next is financial or accounting risk. This is a core risk that should never be neglected. Every business have its accounting portfolios. Every business deals with financials. Now, ability to foresee, plan, and checkmate the financial risk helps a brand, an organization, a business to be sustainable. A financial or accounting risk is the type of risk that is very common with organizations who do not audit their books periodically. This type of risk exists when organizations' financial records do not accurately reflect their true financial status. When you have accounting personnel that are fast-fingered, or when some sharp practices are being played in the organization and the true financial status is not being exhibited for whatever reason, it can lead to a financial or accounting risk. Organizations that evade the task It can only evade a tax for the moment. It will catch you up in the future, and it will cause a serious financial or accounting risk. A financial or accounting risk is very serious, and it can mislead management in making business decisions, which can hamper organizations' growth. This type of risk can also mislead investors when they look at the books of the organization, because the organization's true status are not being stated in the accounting books. Maybe to evade tax, maybe for government purposes, or for whatever reason, the books are not clean. It can mislead investors and government in budgeting and financial year planning, which can hamper national development. I personally recommend creating management accounting structure where either weekly, monthly, quarterly, or biannual, based on the organization's accounts are audited. I personally recommend external auditors to be the core people to audit the books. Internal auditors can sometimes be compromised. But if you have a standard external auditors, they have their image to protect. Therefore, they will give you the right status of the books of the organization. Consistent periodic auditing of the books of the organization ensures consistency and financial clarity. It also helps the management to know the factual true status of the organization's finances. Once per year auditing is not the best. It's not the best. It's not the best. Depending on how the inflow of the organization's finances occurs, whether it's a daily financial inflow or weekly financial inflow or monthly financial inflow, whatever the financial inflow format is, will depend on how the books of the organization should be audited. Whether the books should be audited on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or a quarterly basis, as the case may be. But once a year auditing of your books is not the best for clarity of the accounting books. Okay, so these and more are also explained in a book. However, risks most times can be picked, can be identified. All it needs is to think out of the box. Look at your inventory. Look at your statistics. Look at your operational history. What are the risks you have faced in the past? Most risks are recurring. If adequate measures have not been put in place to mitigate them, they do reoccur. So if they reoccur, what do you do to ensure their impact is minimal to the business or organization, or to outrightly stop the constant occurring of these risks? Simply need them to thinking out of the box. Have you subscribed to our channel? Subscribe below, turn off the notification button so you can be able to get our consistent updates. Also, this book, Management Codes, The Quantitative and Qualitative Analysis of Business Decisions by Kingsley Ejiofor, which is this author, contains all the business risks known globally. It also moved ahead to contain the core management codes which have been implemented by sustainable organizations. So we did a research of organizations that have lived up to a century and are still consistently up and running. What do they know that most organizations that have failed do not know? What are the learning points? What are the management codes that are cut across all these brands? We've picked these management codes, we've documented them in this book. We've documented also the risks and different ways of mitigating all these risks. We have put in case studies, physical life case studies of different organizations and how best to mitigate their decisions analysis in this book. And this book can be received by simply sending an email to the author with our email handle. You give us an email, we send the details of the book to you, and then you should be able to have your full analysis. Our email address is here, mailkeymax@gmail.com. So you send us an email here, we'll be able to send you the book. This book is rich and it costs only a peanut. Okay? And you have your full book with all the details, with all the solutions, with case studies, with charts, with full-fledged analysis, core research proven documents. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your audience who get to share more on the following episodes. I'll say keep on pushing, keep on moving forward, keep on investing in yourself, keep on learning, and keep on growing. Thank you, and thank you,